that. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to quickly go into the training. It's pretty cool. It's called Thinking Like a Billionaire Bootcamp. Right, so I want you guys to all write this down. Thinking Like a Billionaire Bootcamp. Right, I'm not allowed to say millionaire anymore. Ads wants us to aim higher. So we've gone into billionaires because, you know, that's the goal of this team. I definitely want you guys to write this down. We're going to go through it. So I'm going to go through the agenda for this week. It looks really, really cool. So I want you guys to also write this down because it's really good to know what's happening in the week so you're all prepared. So Monday, today, we have Billionaires Never Quit. That's what I'm going for today. We have Billionaire Trading Plan with ads later today. So make sure you keep 8 p.m. UK time free. I don't think he knew that he was going to do that this morning. So guys, can you please say thank you to ads? I don't think he knew that he was going to do this. So please, please, please say thank you in the chat so he does it in our boot camp, right? So he's going to do a billionaire trading plan. Tuesday, we have Billionaires Think Deeply. And then yet again, say thank you to ads. He's back up there again, 8 p.m. Billionaires Invest Q&A. That's going to be more dependent on investment, guys. I do think everyone needs that, especially as all billionaires invest. So we need to know how, what, why. Wednesday, we have Billionaires Keep Good Company. So write that down. Billionaires Keep Good Company on Wednesday. Then we have on Thursday, Billionaires Create Their Own Destiny. And then we have a billionaire trading strategy with ads on Thursday at 8 p.m. And then Friday, we have Billionaire Broke Mindset. Okay, so that is the schedule, guys. Are you excited for this schedule? I keep saying say 111, but who's excited? Put me if you're excited about this boot camp that's coming. Like, I know I'm excited. There's so much to do. There's so much to go through, but guys, stay patient with us. Make sure you are actually attending all these calls. This is to help you. Beswin, your camera quality is fine. Is put the camera on, I don't care. Yeah, like guys, we are really excited for this boot camp. It's basically just to kind of get our mindset as a billionaire mindset, also to learn from billionaires themselves. Obviously, you guys know the trading schedules are as follows. You know, 1 session a day live trading. Make sure you hop on our calls. Make sure you start marking up charts and make sure you finish boot camp. So let's get started. A lot of my work actually came from the book, The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. So you can write that down. I know it says millionaire, but what can I say? There's no billionaire book out right now, right? So it's called Millionaire Fast Lane. I really do like this book, guys. Make sure you do read it. It's something that helped in kind of just understanding how the world works. It's nothing that you haven't heard before. So the author of this book actually says that wealth stands for 3 things and none of them is money. So write that down. Wealth stands for 3 things and none of them is money. You must make your income independent of your time. Right, so write that down. Your income has to be independent of your time in this training. And you have to think like a producer, not a consumer. So these are all things. Put 111 in the chat if you already know this. You should already know this, right? You should already know that wealth stands for 3 things. None of them is money. How many of you guys knew that? How many of you guys knew that income is independent of your time, which is definitely a case. That's why we're all trading. And we have to think like a producer, not a consumer. So this book is really good. I'm going to go over it over the week. But one thing that I want to say about think like a producer, not a consumer, is that people fall into a trap where they start making money, start making more money, and then they start spending more money, right? And then they become in the trap of this lifestyle, and they're still not earning kind of a great income because they're spending crazy amounts because they think they should. So that's a consumer mindset. So we have to make sure we sway away from that, guys, this whole week, and we will go through that each day. Now, the 3 things, if you're wondering what the book actually started off with, and this is how we're going to kickstart this billionaire bootcamp, is the 3 things that you should worry about, not even worry about, but you should focus on, is meaningful relationships with friends and family, being healthy and physically fit, and freedom. Those are the 3 things that that we go back onto, which wealth stands for in the space of this author, right? So meaningful relationships with friends and family, being healthy and physically fit, and freedom. Okay, how many of you guys agree with that? Guys, put some energy in the chat. How many of you guys agree with that? Yes. Do you agree with it? Do you not? Like, do you think that these three things are important to you? Are they important to you? Right? Are these three things, meaningful relationships, being healthy, physically fit, freedom, right? Freedom. Okay, so this kind of book is like amazing in general, but one thing that you have to understand is that number 3 comes, this is where money comes in. Okay, so number 3, the freedom, is where money comes in. Okay, for all millionaires, billionaires, right? So in order to get freedom, right, you have to have money. Money can buy you unlimited amounts of freedom, right? Money can buy you unlimited amounts of freedom. So we have to remember that, okay? We have to remember that, yes, these 3 things are important, but what gets you freedom? The author says money. The freedom is where to live, eat what you want, travel to when and where, right? All these things, geographical freedom, being able to move, being able to control your diary, being able to wake up whenever, like earn money wherever. This freedom, right, is something that we have to focus on. So obviously this is just to kickstart the boot camp, right? This is to kickstart the boot camp. So we're going to go through the training in a little bit, but you have to understand that your income eventually cannot depend on your time in the eyes of a billionaire. You have to unlink it from the hours you put in. Okay, so this is where the book comes in and says you have to unlink the hours you work from your income. So we want to get out of that kind of mindset that if we work more hours, yeah, we're going to get more pay. But really, to be in that millionaire, billionaire status, your income cannot depend on your time. Obviously, there's no overnight success, but the book does highlight passive income is key. Okay, this is passive income is key, and that's true. We know that all billionaires invest in something, get residuals, or they get returns from it day in, day out, whatever its situation. Passive income is key, and we have to start our bootcamp like this, okay? Because we've got quite a lot of investor stuff this week. And it's quite crucial that you guys understand that billionaires actually are really great investors. Okay, now we are covering the topic of billionaires never quit, and I'm going to end this training with giving you loads of examples of where they didn't quit, but we want to go through the theory side of it quickly. So first tip, guys, is an adopt an I won't quit mindset. Adopt an I won't quit mindset. Millionaires, billionaires, whatever they have this mindset. Okay, and these are the things that you want to say to yourself, because obviously I just dropped gems. I don't really want to go through why. We already know why, but these are the things that you need to say to yourselves, okay, guys, when it gets hard. And I need to say it to myself, you guys need to say it to yourself, we all need to say it to each other, right? We already know that. We want to say these kinds of things to ourselves and write this down, so when it gets hard, you know what to say. Okay, first you say, I persist when things get tough. Yeah, I persist when things get tough. I know a lot of you guys that work with me one-on-one understand you say that to yourselves, right? I know Z's actually currently doing something at the moment, but he probably says this a billion times when he's working with me. Sarah probably says this a billion times when she's working with me. Ads 100% says this 1,000 times when he's working with me. Okay, so you guys have to understand that you need to say this in the thought of the long term. I persist when things get tough, and like I said, we all have to go through that. Every single day something will happen and it will be tough, and you have to say to yourself, I persist when things get tough. One of the things that I have, and I genuinely do have this amazing quality, which you guys have to have in this business, is that you just don't quit, right? You just don't quit. No matter what, you keep going and you keep going until you get your result. And regardless if it takes 1,000 times, 2 times, whatever it is, you just don't quit, you keep going. Another thing that you want to say is, I will either find a way or make one. right? You got to say that to yourself as well. I will either find a way or make one. For all you traders on this call, yeah, you're going to go through loads of different things. You're going to try different pairs. You're going to try different times. You're going to just go through a lot, right? You're going to go through all the academy. You're going to go through all the sessions. You're not going to click with some educators. You will click with others. You're going to do loads of different things, right? You have to either find a way or make one. That's the mindset that billionaires have. The end goal is the same, but they're going to find a way or make one. That end goal that we want to be like a 8, 9, 10 figure trader, right? We're going to make one if we can't find a way, right? We're going to keep going. We're going to find one thing that works for us, and we're going to go in on it, and we're going to keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. You also want to have the mindset that every problem has a solution. The best person for this is Ads, actually. Like, you give him any problem, he has a solution just like that. Like, he will find one and he will go at it and find that solution. And I genuinely find that with a lot of successful people is that they don't bring you problems, they give you solutions. And you have to go in with that mindset. So write down, I don't go in with problems, I go in with solutions, right? So if you're talking to someone of value to your life, don't go to them for just problems, go for them with solutions as well, right? So in the jobs that I've had in the past, in the roles that I've had in the past, I could clearly see that there were problems coming up. So for instance, I was at a theme park and I was working as head of sales in a theme park, and I could clearly see that there was a month that would have lower income, right? It's because of all these different factors that were happening. There was changes, there was parks, there was loads of things going on. And I could already see that the targets that month would not be hit. But I knew that, I could see that happening. So one thing that I did is I did go to the CEO and I did say, listen, this March, actually it was May 4 years ago, I said, look, listen, this May is going to be really quiet because we didn't do this, right? We didn't warn people about this. We didn't say about this. We don't have a strong team, and we didn't develop a strong team for this month. So we're going to have at least £200,000 lower than what's expected. And he was like, oh no, so what are you going to do about it? So we got out another product, right, which didn't cost that much, another product, another add-on to at least try and cover what we would have lost. Not only did it cover what it lost, it actually exceeded targets. Right? This is how amazing it is when you find a solution before the problem's made. Not only did they cover that loss, but it exceeded targets because we went in on this extra solution. So one thing that I learned was literally from that experience is if you see a problem coming, then have a solution ready, okay? Develop something, be creative in having something ready for it, because I'll tell you now, after that solution, my commission was something mad, right? It was something mad from that solution, and it got me paid really well that month, okay? So you got to understand, like, if we think ahead, we have to have that mindset. Now, I want you to also understand another thing. You want to say to yourself, every day I gain more knowledge and insight. Write that down. Every day I gain more knowledge and insight, right? Regardless of how the day has gone, you could have had the worst day known to man. You could have had the worst trading day known to man. You could have, I don't know, you could have done something, right? You could have had an argument with everyone you know. But one thing you want to end the day with is saying, I gain more knowledge and insight, right? Does that make sense? Put 111 in the chat if that makes sense, if that's something that you do, right? So far, these are what things that billionaires, millionaires do. Another thing that they have in this mindset is setbacks are temporary, right? Setbacks are temporary. And it's so true, right? Setbacks are always temporary. If you had a setback, it's only setting you up for something greater. So we want to go in that mindset that whatever our setback is, we're going in for something greater. If I had a loss in a trade, or if something didn't work in my business and I had a setback, I always know that it's temporary. Maybe I should put that more in my personal life, but I know it in business, right? It's setbacks are temporary. It's not all final. You also want to say, I will find a way through this. I will find a way through this. That's what you want to say to yourself. That's what they all say. I will find a way through this. And then you think, what is the best thing to do? Okay, this is that one aspect of mindset that you want to have to adopt, and you want to say to yourself, and that app Mood Notes is amazing for this. Like literally I was using it, I was like, this is so good, right? So guys, there are apps that can even do this for you. Another thing that you all should know, and if you are very new on this call, you probably don't know this yet, but I do want to go over it, is when you do have that kind of setback, or you feel low, or you're in a low vibration, you want to go back to your why. One of the most important things that I found when I was studying for this training was that billionaires have this really amazing thing where they go back to the reason why they started, but they believe that if they fail to keep going, their entire livelihood is at stake. So I want you to write that down. Like billionaires believe that if they fail to keep going, their entire livelihood is at stake, right? So whatever their why was, whether it's the family, it's always related to something with family, by the way. If it's something so emotional response to your why, you know, some very successful people, their why is their family, or inspire billions around the world. They really do want to inspire millions around the world, billions around the world. And one thing they do when they kind of set up on a challenge is they go back to why they started, but then also what happens if I don't keep going, right? What happens? And they dread to think about it. Like I said, I saved all the examples to the end, so you are going to see where I've got all this from. But I want you to write down your why, and making sure that you always remind yourself of your why. Okay, don't just think I've written it down once, that's enough. You have to write it every single day. Okay, like if you still see your mum or dad or your whatever situation that you're in, and they're not in a great situation, they're working long hours, or they're just tired, or you know, they want a better life. Like for me, when I visually see it, when I actually can see them all doing all these long hours or whatever, it reminds me to keep going. Okay, so you need to visually see what happens if you don't keep going. Okay, another thing that I want you to also think about, which people do, especially successful people, is they call someone. Write that down, right? When you want to get into a non-quitting kind of mode, right, you want to think about this, right? Who is the person that inspires you the most in your phone book, right? Who is the person that inspires you the most in your phone book? Who is the person who holds you to account? Who is the person that knows all of your goals? One thing that I found with very successful people, and especially it's going to be great for this billionaire kind of boot camp, is goal sponsorship. Okay, we're going to practice it. We're going to get into the hang of it. We all need a goal sponsor. Okay, this goal sponsor is going to hold you account. They have to inspire you. Their work ethic has to inspire you. I'm not saying they have to have loads of money, guys. You don't need that. You want someone who inspires you daily, who works hard, who holds you to account and says it how it is. They know all your goals, and they know if you call them up, right, and you have a conversation, it's going to motivate you, right? It's not going to, they're not going to feed your pity party. They're not going to be like, oh, it's okay, and, you know, soften it. They are literally going to remind you of your goals. So goal sponsorship is something that we want to kickstart this whole week, but I really wanted to do it on Monday so you guys can pick your goal sponsor and say, hey, these are my goals. Hold me to account, please. Okay, and that way you guys can grow together, but also you'll see how powerful you move, right? As soon as you hold someone to account, they move much faster. So I've been working with Sarah for about, I think, 2 weeks, if that, and I've been holding her to account every single day, and she's running, right? This goal sponsorship really works, guys. Make sure you have that kind of push where someone, maybe you fear, right? I fear ads, so that's why I'm running, right? But you want to have someone who inspires you the most, someone who holds you to account and knows all of your goals. And you want them to have that kind of feeling where when they speak to you, they don't just keep hearing problems, that they too are also inspired. They too also hold you to account, right? You want to make sure that it's mutual. You don't want just one person listening to your problems. You want to make sure that both of you are holding each other to account, because if one of you flops, then the other one will too, right? So you want to push each other going every time. And I've picked this up not only from that book, but I picked this up from a lot of stories that I've also read where they had to have that kind of goal sponsorship. Next one. This is just for fun, to be honest, but you want to watch someone else persevere, okay? You want to watch someone else persevere, right? These are the films that you want to that I looked out for, right? So write down all of these films on the screen. Yeah, like, yes, it's films, guys, because you don't fucking read. I give you like 100 books and you don't read them, so maybe, just maybe, you'll watch this film, right? Maybe you'll watch this film. So put these books down, guys. It's about perseverance, okay? You want to follow influencers that never quit, and you want to remove quitters. Yeah, you want to remove people who jump from ship to ship to ship to ship. And you can see this culture where, you know, they're just, as soon as it gets hard, they're gone. Like, you don't want that kind of, you don't want to watch someone like that, because then you think it's acceptable to do that, and it's not, right? It's not. I would say it to you right now. Every person that started this business 3 years ago and did not quit, that I know, are chairman 100 and above, right? Every person that I personally know that started this business over 3 years ago are chairman 100 and above. And I promise you, none of, like, they're not all amazing. Like, some of you just look at them like, how? Because they didn't quit, right? That's it. They didn't quit. That's it. Like, every trader, okay, maybe not every trader, because some traders are really bad, but traders that I know, yeah, that started more than 5 years ago, right? They have got a very nice trading account, very nice trading lifestyle. They did not quit, right? This is a key thing that you guys want to go into. Now, this is the fun bit, right? This is the bit that I really wanted to kind of speak about. So you guys can see actual examples and not just hear the theory to it. Like, every single billionaire, I want you to write this down, every single billionaire used failure as a stepping stone, right? And I've got real good examples. So every single billionaire used failure as a stepping stone. So let's go into it. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, right? He, obviously, you guys know him from the books, but did you guys know that he started selling toys, right? He started selling toys. He bought 100 million toys, right? That's what he did. He bought 100 million toys at the start of when he was selling books. He was like, okay, let's diversify and sell toys. After Christmas that year, 50 million toys were left, right? He couldn't sell it. He couldn't get rid of it. It was a complete flop. All of that money was wasted, right? Do you know what he had to do? He had to donate it because he had no physical space to keep these toys. So any person, any average person would be pretty annoyed that they just spent all of that money just to donate it, right? How many of you guys would be annoyed that you've just spent 50 million toys, right, and couldn't sell it? How many of you guys would think, fuck, like, this is not good? Put 111 in the chat if you would be annoyed, you'd be disheartened, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much debt, like, what do? I need to quit, this won't work. Like, a lot of people, every normal person would be like, this is so bad, like, this is so bad. Did Jeff Bezos quit? No. He kept going and going and going to recover the losses that he made. He kept going and going and going. And now, at that point, he's $95.8 billion rich, right? He didn't stop. He didn't change the business. He didn't leave the business, even though he was in so much debt for this one decision that he made, by the way, right? He did not quit. He just kept diversifying, kept finding out what worked. He used this huge failure that he had, and it was a very big black hole, by the way, that he had, and he used it as research for all the other things he started selling. Now you guys look at Amazon, and there's nothing they don't sell, right? There's nothing they don't sell. I can buy cat food there. I can buy everything there, right? I can literally, he's made more money in this lockdown than ever before. So it just shows you guys, if he stopped when he had that black hole, if he stopped when he had those no sales, when he stopped when those toys did not sell, he wouldn't have the wealth that he has now. Okay, he wouldn't have the wealth that he has now. Nick Woodman, he's a GoPro founder, right? Listen to this story. This is mad. How many of you guys know GoPro? Put 111 in the chat if you know GoPro. Let's see if you're still listening, guys. 111 if you know GoPro. Do you guys know this story? I love this story. He gathered investors. Right, imagine Nick Woodman at the start gathered investors. Yeah. He gathered loads of investors, millions of pounds worth of investors together. Right, he gathered them all. He put all of their money in the pot for a failed business plan called the Fun Bug, right? It was an idea to bring marketing and gaming together, which I really want to do, but now reading this, I probably won't, right? He wanted to bring marketing and gamers together. He was like, this is genius, guys. Put your millions in it. Put all of your money in this, yeah? It lost. It made no money. Every single thing was gone, right? He lost millions and millions and millions, right? Now, any one of you guys, if you lost millions, how would you feel? Put one word in the chat on how would you feel if you lost millions of pounds worth of investment and you had millions of investors now pissed at you, right? How would you feel? Would you quit? Would you hide? Would you be scared? Would you be depressed, right? I would be. I would be so scared. I wouldn't know what to do. I've lost millions of pounds, right? Guys, he didn't. Do you know what he did? He kept going, right? He kept going. He tried to regain all the money. He borrowed a further 235,000 on a mortgage, and he developed the idea GoPro. Now GoPro is worth $2.25 billion, right? So he lost a lot of money, and he still did not quit in the idea that he will be successful and he will be a billionaire, right? He went back to his why and he kept going, and that no quitting mindset now has him a 2.25 billion pound business, right? That's amazing. And we'll still keep going, guys. I want you to write down every single example because you guys need to hear these stories. We don't hear about these stories, but you guys need to hear them. Fred Smith and FedEx. How many of you guys know FedEx? How many of you guys know FedEx? Yeah? FedEx is a company that we should all know. Everyone know about it? Yeah? They ship 10 million packages every single day around the world. Did you know, right? Did you know when he started, he was doing quite well? Yeah, he was doing quite well. He was doing really well, and he wanted to diversify, and he wanted to integrate with an Asian company. Yeah, he wanted to diversify and integrate with an Asian company. There was loads of red tape. There was loads of issues. There was a mismatch in infrastructure. When he integrated this company, his profits went from 185 million to 6 million in 2 years. His profits went that low, right? He went so low. Not to mention, he lost 29 million in his first few years as well. So this guy really was losing a lot of money, right? He was making it and then losing it. It's kind of like how you guys over trade, over leverage, right? You make it and then you lose it in a few trades. This is exactly what this guy did with his company. But he had this obsession that his company would be around the world no matter where you are. He will be in America, he will be in Asia, he will take over all of these continents, and he would not quit. People were like, you need to let this Asian company go. It's losing us money. Let it go. But he had this obsession that he will keep going. And now he is worth $4.8 billion. Right? Can you guys see how these big failures that any sane person would quit in, but how these guys did not quit, and how much wealth and prosperity they got from using it as a stepping stone? Can you guys see the examples? So you guys know to go back to your why. You guys know why you don't want to quit. But these are lifelong examples of why people should not quit. Next one, everyone should know about Walt Disney, right? Everyone knows. But do you actually know the story behind Walt Disney and how he failed? It's actually pretty hilarious, right? Walt Disney was rejected and rejected and rejected. Everyone's seen the memes, everyone's seen Instagram, everyone knows about Walt Disney. He was rejected. But, right? And by the way, he started eating dog food because he couldn't afford real food, right? But he had spent this money on a play, right? Pinocchio. It was an actual disaster. He fed people wine at children's play and everyone was drunk. Yeah. Every single person was drunk in this play. They said it was the worst play. Like they said this was the worst thing they've ever seen. His reputation was so bad at this point. They were like, this guy's a joke, right? This guy is actually a joke. He had a studio called Laugh-O-Gram that also went bankrupt, right? So he went bankrupt. He had decisions that shouldn't have been made. And any other person, if they had such a failed reputation, they would quit at this role, right? They'll quit at this job. They'll quit at this company. He went bankrupt and he still did not quit. And he had to keep using his failures as stepping stones. So what he did is he stopped saying, okay, cool. If it's children, we don't want to give these adults alcohol because they're dumb, right? So he stopped that. He started looking at different kind of plays. He started really integrating his imagination. And that is how you have Walt Disney. He had all these failures again and again, and he used them as a stepping stone rather as something to stop. And now he is a billionaire and everyone knows him, like everyone knows Disney, right? That's how. Warren Buffett, right? He also had a fair few mistakes in investments, okay? He had Berkshire Hathaway purchase. Some actually say that this purchase was $200 billion mistake, okay? It was a textile mill. It didn't make sense. It had no capital. He kept spending money, and it made nothing. He spent so much money on it that people actually thought that Warren Buffett was crazy because he kept this obsession over this company, right? He actually turned it into a capital venture and he did loads of things to it to make it work, right? He did so much to keep it alive. This company now is one of the world's biggest holding companies, and he is now worth 70 billion, right? So imagine spending, like, I'm not saying it was 200 billion, but people saying it was, right? There was so much money pumped into this failed business that people thought he was crazy putting his money into this, and he kept going and going and going. He went through restructuring over 10 times on this company, right? He kept trying to change it, diversify it, trying to make it work because he was so obsessed that he can make it work and he can bring it back to life. He did, and now it's one of the biggest holding companies there is, okay? This shows you guys that really all you need to understand, so we've got all of these points, right? We know the why, we know the I won't quit mindset, but all of you guys really need to look into is seeing that if you quit, what happens, and saying if you don't, what happens, okay? Because there's a clear sign in this billionaire mindset of not quitting that they believe that if they don't quit, they will make it work, right? They will make it work. So when you guys feel low because you lost 2 pounds in trading, yeah? When you guys feel low because someone said no to you, right? When you guys feel low because I'm telling you to jump on a freaking call, yeah? Like, just remember, guys, like these stories, because this will keep you going for as long as you can, right? If you start looking at real life examples and you have it in front of you and you can see that billionaires, one of the main things they have is they're using failure as a stepping stone rather than a hindrance, yeah? Your mindset changes, okay? Your mindset changes. And it also, with all the names that I've listed in front of you, when they found out that they can make it work, how they made even more because of that faith and belief that they can make it work the first time. That's pretty much all it really is, okay? Like, this is one thing that I want you guys to really see. It was a quick training. I don't want you guys to just spend all day on a training. I want you to actually do some work. So that is kind of the end of this training, guys. What you need to take from this is that your biggest failures will result in your biggest wins, okay? If you do not quit. So I'm going to say again, your biggest failures will result in your biggest wins if you do not quit. If you quit, it's your biggest failure, right? That's a fact. That's it. But if you don't, in whatever you're trying to achieve, it will result in your biggest wins, okay? So that is the end of this training, guys. Do you guys have any questions that you want to go through or anything like that? If you guys don't, that's perfect. We have got a training happening again at in a couple of hours or whatever, however many hours it is. It's 8 p.m. UK time. So in 7.5 hours, we're going to hear about the billionaire compound plan that Az is now going to have to do, right? So guys, I really am grateful that you guys are on this training. What you want to focus on today is perfecting your strategy, finishing boot camp, making sure that you talk in the chat. Before you guys leave, can you please put in the purple team what you're so happy and grateful for today and what you are going to achieve today, and then we are all on our way. So do you guys have any questions? Okay, T, go for it.
You can hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's real good. So what keeps you going? What kept you going when you ran into those same obstacles that Disney, Warren Buffett, and Bezos ran into? Because we all do have obstacles that we got to overcome.
Yeah,
and that's,
yeah.
I think not quitting is the motto. So
yeah, 100% we do. Like, one thing that kept me going is one aspect was it that I made sure that everywhere I looked, I can see why I started in the first place. So like I would see like my family's picture. I would make sure that I would see visually actually see what impact it would do if I was successful, and what I wouldn't if I wasn't. So one thing I would have to have around me was my why. So that's everywhere. Another thing that I did is I only surrounded myself with people who pushed me more. That's the only thing I did. I didn't speak to people who didn't push me. I didn't speak to people who didn't motivate me. I actually stayed away from those people, and people called me a savage for that. And another thing that I did is I met you guys, innit? You make a team, your team motivate you like day in, day out. Like when you're surrounded by people who look up to you in helping them, then you fix yourself. Like growing a team will grow you. Not just because of them, but because of you. And those are the three things that I did. And also I went to faith a bit more. So it pushed me closer towards faith, and having that lack of, anxiety, knowing that we don't control everything, right? Everything is set, everything is planned. And that's really what I did to get through it. But that's a really good question. You should ask Adzat tonight in his surprise training that he can answer. Do you guys have any other questions? Kind of understanding what we're going to do today, how we're going to go forward. Don't let the downsides come down to you, okay, guys? Make sure you do stay focused. And I'm super happy and grateful that you did jump on this training. So I'll see you in a few hours. Make sure you are productive of this day. And also, guys, just so you know, right, this training, just to remind you, is not the income. Okay, you're not making money on this training. The money comes after, on what you do after this training. Okay, put in a trade, present the business. Put in a trade, present the business, and that's the way forward. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to remember, and I shall speak to you all very soon. Have an amazing day. See you in a few hours. Stay productive and go live. Take care. Bye.